Well, I have your wonderful book here. I'll
Thank
put
you.
that right in the middle there. Paycheck to Purpose. It's absolutely fantastic. I loved reading it. Congrats. How does it feel to have another best-selling book out there in the world?
You know, I'm just incredibly grateful. Just hearing you say that, that's kind of another reminder that, that I'm doing what I dreamed of doing, and it's amazing. I mean, it's crazy. I thought maybe I would write one book.
Yeah.
Bestseller didn't enter into my consciousness, so it's pretty wild.
Well, it's absolutely brilliant, and I think it's such an important book, and everyone should go out there and read it because it's going to change so many lives, and it is changing so many lives. Um, so I think that one of the most important questions we've got to start with is how's your golf? How's it
Yeah,
all
it's
going? I've
better.
been listening about this on the Ramsey show.
Well, thank you. We I played last weekend with Dave Ramsey down in Florida. We had a series of events, and we had a couple days off in between, and we played 2 days in a row. And I played better the second day. I'm playing better. I'm seeing real improvement. That's very exciting. I'm
Yeah,
completely, um, utterly addicted to it.
it's
It's
highly addictive.
Yeah, right. I'm
That's the
starting to see
problem.
improvement. And so as you see improvement, you go, "Oh, I want more."
Yeah.
It's quite insatiable.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
really is.
yeah. And what's Dave like with it? He was saying like he was
Well,
obsessed, and I can imagine. Is he
yeah,
competitive?
he's no, interesting. He's a very intense dude. Um when he hits a bad shot, he does this fake laugh, ha, 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 like that. He doesn't get upset, and
Okay.
he's pretty low key on the golf course. I think it's therapeutic for him.
Yeah. Well, we're huge fans in the UK of Ramsey Solutions, of Dave,
Thank you.
of his teachings, all the personalities.
Thank you.
What's it like to work for someone like him and be part of this global business?
It's hard to describe for people who haven't experienced working in a company where there is a blazing flame of mission. Like we know what we're doing, why we're doing it. Uh, it's he keeps a tremendous pace, a pace that I uh, feel quite comfortable with. I like the pace that he keeps. It's a pace that I keep, so that's nice. It's nice when the leader sets a wonderful pace, and uh, it's uh, it's fast, man. We're getting after it, and it's invigorating. It is very worthwhile work. I mean, it's hard to describe in one succinct way. I feel as though I'm rambling a little bit, but you know, it it's an amazing organization. We're not perfect, but it is truly an amazing organization because of the work that we do and the way we get to do it. And Dave sets a tone, not just a pace, and he sets a standard, not just a tone and a pace. And we do things very, very well,
Yeah.
and classy, and try to be excellent in everything we do.
And how many shows do you record a day? Because I watch it like everyone else who's not in the States on YouTube. So
Mhm.
I wonder, do you do it in the mornings, afternoons, or are you doing a
Yeah.
block of them, or how does it work?
Yeah, so because I'm live on radio and Sirius XM every day, I'm a daily show, and so I am live each day. We do record it, of course, for podcast and YouTube purposes, but I'm live every day at noon Central Time, 1 Eastern. And there are days where I will record an extra show when I'm out of town.
Yeah.
So we record extra shows. So some days I will do an extra show. Um, and then like today, I will do my show live, and then I will co-host with George Camel, one of the other Ramsey personalities.
Yeah.
We'll co-host the Ramsey show together. So I'll do 4 straight hours of broadcasting today.
Wow. So
Yeah,
it's non-stop.
indeed it is. Yes.
And George, I saw his debt-free screen, which was
Oh
amazing.
yeah, wasn't that
He's
fun?
he seems like a real character. I know he's new to the sort of the business. Yeah, I thought that was a really good thing he did with him and his wife.
Yeah, George is the real deal. Sit right next to each other. His path to personality here was very similar to mine,
Hmm.
and I have a soft spot in my heart for George.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the start then, Ken, because your book talks a little bit about how you got into the industry. I know you were a sports fan, and you talked about that, and then you wanted to get into broadcasting, sort of marry the two. I think the big takeaway for me, and you don't say this, is you took responsibility. Like, you just got after it. You're like, look, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go full pelt into this, and what will be will be. We'll burn the boats, and we're just going to go for it. And you went and did it. Tell us a little bit about the start and from there to now.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, but the reality is I sat on my butt for about 2.5 years, waiting and waiting and waiting and hoping that something might happen, or somebody, through a random conversation would give me an opportunity. And I got to the point where I got real sick of that and realized that I was going to have to get after it myself. As you said, I love to get after it. And so I was
book number 3, get after it.
What's that?
Book number 3, get after it.
Yeah, right. I'm sitting on my back patio, having a pity party one day, drinking coffee. And I realized that nobody was sitting around thinking about how they could help me. Now I was going to have to help myself. And so at that point, it became an all-in proposition for me. And I just started shaking the tree, for any relationship, any connection I had in broadcasting, knowing that I was going to have to make something happen. And I remembered a conversation that I had 2 or 3 months earlier. And it was a lady. I was doing a favor for a friend, giving her some advice in an area of event sponsorship, which is what I was doing at the time, running a company. And I remember that she dropped the detail in kind of the introductory part of our lunch that her family owned a radio station. So for, about 2 weeks, I'd just been reaching out to people, just, making connections, trying to figure out who do I know that knows somebody in broadcasting that I can start to try to find a way in. And so I called Elizabeth up. She answered the phone. And I said, I remember you talking about your radio station, your family radio station. Tell me more. And she told me about the radio station. I said, I've called that station before. I can't get an answer from the general manager. I can't get an email reply, nothing. I said, I'm willing to pay my way on weekends. And she said, well, I'll take care of that. I'll have a meeting with my brother set up for you within the next 10 minutes. He runs the station. And so she set the meeting up the next week, and I had a great meeting, and I got on the air and started doing radio on Saturdays, and eventually worked my way into their daily lineup. And, that was just one of the stories, but that was where I share that story because that's where it really began to become real. Everything else before that, I was just doing a little bit here and a little bit there, but I wasn't going after it with everything. I wasn't putting myself all in, if you will, to use a poker term. I wasn't pushing all the chips into the middle of the table. And, for me, that was the beginning of the actual climb. Everything before that was just kind of messing around at base camp and, all this kind of stuff. So it was a big moment to actually say, all right, I'm going to go do this and put myself out there and learn how to do radio. I had done some TV a little bit here and there before that, but nothing really stuck. And it was in that moment when I committed to do the radio show and launch it and do it that I really began to experience momentum. Dave Ramsey starts paying attention. I had known him from years before, had done some leadership interviews with him in front of a large leadership conference. I don't have time to unpack all of this because people will fall asleep in their tea.
No, but it's
the entire story, but that's how it really got going.
But it's so important because I think what's driving a lot of people is, well, there's a few things: fear, doubt. What if it doesn't work out? It's a big sacrifice. I don't know if you had a family at this point when you were starting, but so
yeah, let me jump in there. So
yes,
I'm glad you brought that up. So I did have 3 kids and was running a small business with my wife, and it was hard. It was really hard because I had to keep the day job going and then pursue this dream job. So I started out on Saturdays doing Saturday radio. I would do high school football on the internet years before that. I mean, all these things I was doing and building up. And I never stopped doing my day job. This idea of, I'm going to jump off of a cliff has been romanticized. And it's quite silly.
Well, there's a reality, isn't there?
Yeah, there
For
is a reality.
people.
But I will say this: the reason I jumped in is because I want people to hear that it is doable.
Mm,
You can do it on the side, in a transition like I was making to go into broadcasting. You have to do it on the side. You can't just go all in. You just don't show up at a TV station and they go. It's not like going to a restaurant going, "Can I fill out an application?" I mean, it's so political. It is a very difficult world to break into. I mean, I can't even describe how difficult it is.
mm.
I got rejected so much. And so you I had to do it incrementally. But so many people think, well, I've got this life over here, I've got responsibilities, my ship has sailed. And that's just total garbage. It will take you longer. Okay. Took me 7.5 years. 7.5 years. Well, not many people want to sign up for 7.5 years.
Yeah.
But if you want it bad enough and you don't want to get to the end of your road as an old man and be full of regret, then you gotta get after it.
Yeah, well, there's that lovely quote, and it's everyone has two lives, and the second one starts when you realize you've only got one, which
That's
is
good.
life is short.
That's good.
You have
Who
to
said that?
yeah. Me.
You said that?
No, I didn't. I'm
Oh, that's
joking.
so
I
cool.
found it on a. I can't remember where I heard that on a
Yeah,
YouTube thing, but I thought I should bring that up because I hope that sort of strikes a chord with people and
it
and
struck a chord
yourself.
with me. I love that.
Yeah. Let's talk about your YouTube channel and the show. I say YouTube channel, the show, which is on YouTube. I was doing some research before, and I thought, what is the number one clip, the most viewed clip on your show? And it's from a woman called Stephanie. And she
Mm.
called up the show and she was very, very emotional and very upset. And you handled this call brilliantly. It was fantastic. But the reason she was calling is because she was in tears every day from going to work. She hated her job. She wanted to make some changes and she didn't know where to start. And I wondered, is it the reason that's the number one call is because everyone in their time can relate to that and it's relatable?
Yeah, yeah. It's sadly yes. You think about the amount of time that we spend at work. Okay, so if you just take your 24-hour day, or you take a week, and you just play it out. If you were to write out all of the hours you spend at work versus the next category is going to be sleep. Okay, and then what's left, right? You got some family time, maybe scurrying around in the morning with the kids before you go to work, or seeing a little bit in the evening before they go to bed. I mean, it's quite shocking, when people really begin to reason this out. And so if you're not doing something that you enjoy, or the converse, if you're in a place that the culture is toxic and your leader doesn't treat you like you matter, and the work you do, it just doesn't matter that much to you. The slippery slope for Stephanie and millions of other people is that you begin to think that you don't matter much.
Mm,
And this is soul crushing, bone
mm.
crushing. Um, and so that the emotion that Stephanie was sharing there is a woman who feels as though her soul is slipping away from her, like she's almost trying to grab it,
Yeah.
and feels so stuck. And so yeah, people resonate with that. Yeah.
And I've always wondered, do you ever hear back from the callers? Do you ever do a where are they now sort of a year down the
Yeah,
line?
that's really interesting. We don't do that as a planned segment, but I do hear from callers from time to time that will call back and say, "Hey, I talked to you a year ago or
Yeah.
6 months ago, and I've made this progress, and I wanted to let you know." And they're celebrating, or they'll call and say, "Now I need some more advice. Okay, now so I'm at mile marker 6, and I need some advice to make it to mile marker 10." That happens from
Yeah.
time to time, and I've encouraged that from day one, because I've always fancied that the show would be a conversation between me and the listener, and not me talking at them. Um, I certainly try to embody the posture of a coach, and so want to coach people along the way. So I love when people call back.
Yeah. I'd love to know how she was doing. And where she
that's
was
actually
now.
quite an interesting thing to think about. It may not be a bad idea.
Mm. So that takes us to sort of stay. I mean, you've got these 7 stages, Ken, that you in the book, which is the you know, the whole point of everything we're talking about here. And that would take us then to sort of stage 1, which is getting clear about your job and your career and what you want to do. It might be an obvious question, but there'll be people who are watching and listening thinking, how the hell do I even start? What do I do here? So what's some practical steps that you can take to go, right, I'm going to make some changes?
Well, stage 1 is, in fact, get clear. And so we've got to get clear on what it is that I can do, what it is that I should do. We got to know what we were created to do. So let's start with the premise that I believe that every man and woman was created to work, not to slave, not to work in awful conditions, but to actually do work that creates a result that makes the world a better place. So I really believe that, because everybody comes into this world with talent. Everybody comes into this world with passion, and everybody comes into this world with a sense of mission. I want to do something. That's why everybody goes, what am I supposed to do with my life? Well, it's because we long to make a contribution. So I took those 3 elements and we break those down in this first stage, get clear. Because when we're clear on how we are uniquely made, we can now see work that we are uniquely created to do. So those 3 elements are talent, what we do best, hard skills, people skills, character traits. You can put all those in one bucket of, I just am naturally good at this, comes easy for me.
Yeah.
And so that's talent. That's the talent bucket. Then the next bucket is passion. This is what I love to do. This is a task. It might be working with your hands. It might be communicating and coaching people. It might be designing code, whatever it is. I love this task. I look forward to it. When I'm in the middle of it, I really enjoy it and I lose track of time. I don't really want to stop. And then the third element is mission. So talent, what I do best, passion, what I love to do, work I love to do specifically, and then mission, results that I really want to put into the world. These results fire me up. These results matter deeply to me. And another way of saying that is what motivates me. See, we as human beings are always looking for motivation, but we don't have to look to others for motivation. We need to look inward for motivation. Because what makes my heart fire up is always going to be related to some type of people problem that I like to solve. Even if you're coding, you never see people. You go, I'm coding because I like to make this sufficient and efficient and proficient, so that people on the other end of this app can experience whatever.
Yeah.
And so all work creates some result that has some connection, some indirect, some direct. And so you put the sentence together, talent, passion, mission. How does it all come together? When I use what I do best, talent, to do work I love, passion, to produce results that matter to me, mission, I'm on purpose.
Yeah.
When I use what I do best to do work I love, to produce results that matter to me, woo, baby, I got the juice on Monday morning. I'm going home on Friday afternoon. I am exhausted, but I'm also exhilarated.
Yeah.
I just came back from a 3-day event with 3,000 leaders, and my schedule is boom, 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 boom. I'm on stage. I prepare for months in advance. Go. And shaking hands and seeing people every minute I'm not on stage. We're coaching people. People come up asking for advice and things like that. And so you're just completely pouring yourself out. And I'm exhausted, but I'm also exhilarated because it was really fun. And so this is the idea of, I am walking in my purpose. I am doing what I was created to do because I am giving what I was created to give. So purpose isn't about us. It's actually about others. And so that formula, talent, passion, mission, we've created an assessment called the Get Clear assessment. In the first 2 chapters of the book, I walk people through how to figure this out if they want to do it manually. But then we created this assessment, the 20-minute assessment, Get Clear, and you can get a detailed report on talent, passion, and mission. and then see a purpose statement written out for you with your top answers, fill in the blank. It's a fantastic tool. And so when we're clear about what we're supposed to do, then we can look to the marketplace with that purpose sentence statement. And we could say, oh, as I look at the world at work, now I'm looking at it, I go, oh, I need to use these talents to do this type of work to produce these results. Does this job allow me to do that? And so it's almost like you take that purpose statement and it becomes an overlay of any job you're looking at, and it becomes your filter.
Yeah.
So getting clear, and I took some time to unpack that, because watch what happens when I'm clear. When I'm clear, I become confident in who I am and what I'm supposed to do and where I'm supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. Let me say that again, because that's really good. When I'm clear, I get confident that I know who I am, what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to do it. And then that gives me courage when I need it, because the path is not straight.
Yeah.
It's not easy. So clarity gives me confidence, and confidence will give me courage when I need it most.
That is it. Basically, that's what people need to be hearing and doing. I don't know if this is more of a British sensibility, but I think people don't want to maybe chase their dreams or go for it because they're probably scared of what people might think or how they're perceived by others. What's your feeling on sort of pushing that to one side and thinking, actually, I'm gonna go for this?
Yeah, certainly understand it. I mean, good grief. I'm a people pleaser, recovering people pleaser. I'm an Enneagram 3. I'm a performer. So, it's like, like the internal voice that I'm always dealing with is, hey, look at me. Like me,
Yeah.
So I certainly understand that. And I want people to know that that's very normal. However, you got to get to the point where you go, it's my life. It's my life. And I'm either going to be who I believe I'm supposed to be, or I'm going to live as some knockoff version of somebody else. And if I'm worried about it, what everybody else thinks about who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing and how I'm supposed to be doing it,
Yeah.
you're going to end up like Theodore Roosevelt said in that famous speech in Man in the Arena, when he said, the cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. The people who sit, as it were, on the bench of life and just watch everybody else play. That's what's going to happen. And you'll end your life. When you get to the end of your life, you will be full of regret. And so you got to decide. I'm either going to disappoint some people, or I'm going to resent those same people. Which do you want to do? And so if somebody isn't like my decision, and they think, oh, Ken, that was crazy, blah, blah, blah. Because I had some people say that. In fact, I had one of my closest friends tell me over and over again he thought I was too old. By the way, he was spectacularly wrong.
Clearly, yeah.
But I believed him.
Well,
I believed him for a while. But so here's the deal. So either I go, wait a second, do I listen to him? He thinks that he's a smart guy, very successful guy. So do I listen to him? Because he's somebody that I would go to for any area of my life for advice, like a brother. So what happens when your closest friend tells you, I think what you're doing is, I think it's too late. What do you do? What do you do? And I'll tell you what I did. I wrestled with it. I really did. I believed him one day. The next day I didn't believe him. Believed him the next day. The next day I didn't believe him. And I finally got to the point where I went, you know what? He might be right. But I need to know.
Yeah. Because do you think everyone should follow their passion?
Yeah. Well, so as I broke down the 3 parts here, so I would say when you ask the question that way, should you follow your passion? No. Okay. Because passion's one part.
Yeah. So the golf's a good thing, like you're saying about the golf. Are you gonna play the PGA in 5 years?
No, because that would be delusional.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not going to be good enough to make the senior tour either. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to play bogey golf.
Never say never.
No. I actually can say it. And I'll tell you how I know I can say it. I don't have the talent to do it.
Okay.
So it's like, so I grew up playing basketball.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want people to hang on. I'm coming right back to the follow the passion thing. But since we took me here, I got to go there and I got to come back. All right. I played basketball my whole life. I love basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport. But the problem is I can't jump very high at all. And I'm not crazy quick. And I'm not a world-class shooter. Okay. And I'm 5'9". These are all talent factors. Two of those are physical, all are physical talent. I don't have the physical talent to be a college basketball player or pro basketball player. So this notion that you could do anything you set your mind to is total, utter hogwash. I know this is freaking some people out right now, but let's just play this out. When I was at my physical prime, and shockingly, to those of you who are looking at me now, it's not now. I couldn't dunk a basketball without a trampoline, no matter how hard I tried. I could sit out there, motivate myself. You can do it. You can do it. You're amazing, Ken. Dunk the ball, dunk the ball. And I'm barely going to touch the backboard. So talent matters, but talent's not enough. Passion's not enough. You know, you see these kids go on American Idol and British Idol and all these things or whatever it is. And they got passion. They love music, but they're not very good or they're not good enough. I'm not even talking the delusional ones. I'm talking about the ones that they're good singers. They're not good enough for the judges to put them through. And they're sitting there and they're going, they're this close. And so talent's not enough. Passion's not enough. It's talent, passion, and mission. So back to what you said, should you follow your passion? If you have the talent to do it, yes. If there is a missional result attached to it, yes. But absent of talent to do it and the mission to stay with it, because keep in mind that talent plus passion plus mission equals purpose. So remember, catch people up. Talent is what I do best. Those are the tools. Passion, I love it. I love doing the thing, the type of work, but there is a missional result attached to the work. So in other words, I want to write music to touch people's hearts versus I want to write music just so I can play a concert. You see the difference?
Yeah.
The first one's missional, and that artist is never going to quit.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a mission attached to it. So passion's not enough. Don't follow just a passion because you are setting yourself for tremendous disappointment.
Because otherwise you're just floating around. Basically.
Yeah, it's all, yeah. It's all emotion as opposed to conviction. See, that missional element, this is the result that I want to put into the world. That's conviction. That's Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, the great inventors, people that changed the world are driven by a result that must be. That's conviction.
Yeah. Well, look, Ken, thank you so much for giving me some time today. I really appreciate it. Last couple of things, if that's all right. I don't know if we've still got any time, but you've written obviously these two hugely successful books and done so many other things. Is there anything else you would like to do where you think, this is going to be my mission and my goal, I'm going to go after it, apart from the golf?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I'm just getting started in my mind. So certainly television. There's some television projects that I'm thinking about. We're actually actively in a kind of a discovery and testing process. I think television, certainly, as we kind of warm back up and we're getting back out, a version of a live event tour is something that I want to do. I got a children's book idea the other day. That's brand new. Nobody knows that I'm just kicking it around. It's not ready for public consumption. I don't know if we'll do that or not. I'm doing a lot of things with leaders now, and I see growth in that area. We've got some education reform issues here that I want to be a crusader on in the United States. Our public education system is broken. We're not training kids properly for their future. needs to be addressed. So I want to piss some people off there.
Yeah.
Helping leaders with engagement. You know, I've done 5,000 plus phone calls. I've studied the guts, what's behind employee engagement. It is the challenge of our time as it relates to leadership. So I want to come over to Britain. I've been on all these British podcasts. I want to come over there and speak.
Come over. We need you over
get
here.
over to Europe, man.
We'd love that. You should come over, man. Definitely.
I'm just waiting
sell
on
out
an
some
invitation.
theaters.
I'm just waiting on an invitation.
Oh, well, you're more than welcome. We'll be picking you up at the airport, Ken.
You got to scuttle some promoters up together, and we'll come over there and we'll hit several cities. And,
yeah, man, I love it.
Turn my British friends on fire. I secretly have always wanted to be British. So,
so Ken, if you could, last question, we'll end it on this. I think this is a good note. If you could go back 21, 22, 23, however, and you could do anything differently or anything again, what would you do? Would you get into broadcasting earlier, or do you think that was just the time to get into the business?
You know, when I get questions like this, because I'm a question asker by trade, I always try to answer the question. Because one thing that really irritates me is when you ask somebody a question and they get all cute with you and they reword you, oh well, I wouldn't do anything different. And I think that's nonsense. The question was, what would I do anything different? Yeah, I would do a lot different. I would have leaned into, the broadcasting thing earlier, but that's going back. Broadcasting wasn't on the table at 22, 23. It was politics, and I was headed that direction. So certainly now that I found my love, I would have loved to have gotten into it earlier, no question about it. But this is my journey, and all of that journey plays into the broadcaster that I am now. So I'm right where I'm supposed to be. But to answer the question purely, sure.
Yeah.
I've done a little sooner, but I wasn't pissing things away either. You know what I mean? Like I was on purpose and doing stuff. So that's a tough question to answer.
But timing, as you said, timing is everything.
Yeah. Here's the deal. It's like I bring something to the table that I would not have been able to bring to the table had I gotten into broadcasting earlier. And who knows the direction? Maybe I'm doing sports, and I don't want to do sports broadcasting. I really don't. I love talking sports. I'm friends with a lot of sports broadcasters, a lot of athletes and coaches. So I get my fix that way, but I'm doing exactly what I know that I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. All right. That's perfect to end it there.
Thank you,
Ken.
brother.
Make sure you come over to the UK. I'm coming to Nashville at some point. I'm coming.
Oh,
I'm coming to Ramsey Solutions. 100%.
Come on, man. I really can't wait. I just don't want to be the guy that just books a ticket to London and I'm just standing around the street going, "What do I do next?"
Nah, never.
Yeah, we've got to find out all these British podcasts I've been on, and we got to figure out a way to get over there, and let's raise a ruckus, man. Let's do some leadership, something or other over there. I don't know, man. You got the connections.
All right, leave it with me.
You got it, man. I'll be there.
Thanks, Ken. Loved it,
brother.
Look after yourself. Cheers.